Everyone wants to win, but no one wants to pay the price. We talk about dreams like they're magical, like success just happens if you believe hard enough. But what no one tells you is that every dream comes with a hidden cost. The cost of sleepless nights, the cost of being misunderstood, the cost of losing people who don't see your vision. You see, the world will show you the glory, the spotlight, the trophies, but it hides the blood, the tears, the years of silent struggle behind every victory. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. Not the shiny part of success, but the truth. What it really takes to win. Because if you truly understand the cost and still decide to chase your dream, then nothing in this world can stop you. You know, everyone talks about chasing their dreams like it's something you just wake up one day and do. We love the sound of success. We love the highlight reels, the applause, the recognition. But here's what most people don't realize. Every dream has a price tag, every single one. And the universe will always test how badly you want it before it gives it to you. When I say that, I don't mean money. I'm talking about the emotional cost, the mental cost, the spiritual cost. Because before you ever hold the dream in your hands, you will first have to prove you deserve it through the battles no one else can fight for you. See, we all want the outcome, but very few are ready for the process. Think about it. People say they want success, but they also want to sleep in. They want to stay comfortable. They want to avoid failure. That's not how it works. Success doesn't show up because you wish for it. It shows up because you work for it, because you bleed for it. Every goal, every breakthrough, every transformation you've ever admired in someone else came with a hidden cost they had to pay long before you ever saw the results. I've met people who say, I'll do whatever it takes. And I always smile because it sounds powerful, but most of them don't mean it. Whatever it takes means giving up your weekends when everyone else is out relaxing. It means waking up earlier, staying later, getting rejected 1,000 times, and still saying, I'm not done. It means believing in yourself when absolutely no one else does. And here's the truth. Most people quit not because they can't do it, but because they never realized how much it would cost. They underestimate the pain, the setbacks, the sacrifice. They think the path to their dream will be exciting, but the truth is it's often exhausting. It's a battle against yourself, your excuses, your fears, your doubts. The people who win are not the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who are willing to pay full price, without negotiation, without discount, without delay. You can't cheat the cost. You can't skip steps. You can't pray your way around the work. Life has a way of demanding the payment up front, in sweat, in time, in effort. And if you don't pay it now, it will come to collect later with interest. So many people give up too early because they confuse difficulty with impossibility. They hit one wall and they think, maybe this isn't meant for me. But what if the wall isn't a stop sign? What if it's a toll booth? And the toll is your persistence. Every time you struggle, every time you fail, every time you're forced to get back up when you don't feel like it, you're making a deposit towards your dream. And eventually those deposits compound. You don't see the progress at first because the universe is still testing your consistency. It wants to know, are you serious or are you just interested? Because there's a big difference between interest and commitment. Interest says, I'll do it when it's convenient. Commitment says, I'll do it no matter what. You can't chase a dream halfway. You can't play small and expect to live big. You have to decide deep down, this is who I am now. This is what I'm made for, and I'll pay whatever it takes. That mindset, that total non-negotiable decision is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. There will be days you'll question yourself, days when no one believes in you, days when it feels like you've been doing everything right and still nothing is working. That's the hidden cost. The days you keep moving without proof. That's when the price feels highest. But that's also when most people quit. And the few who keep going, who keep showing up with faith and hunger, those are the ones who eventually cross the finish line. The price doesn't go away just because you ignore it. It waits. It waits for you to mature, to focus, to commit. The question isn't, can you do it? The question is, will you keep doing it when it hurts? Because the truth is, the dream you want has already been assigned to you. But you'll only receive it once you've proven you can handle it. So if you're sitting there thinking about your dream, that business, that career, that change, that version of yourself you know you can be, understand this, it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to cost something. Because if it didn't, everyone would have it and it wouldn't mean anything. The struggle is what gives it value. The sacrifice is what gives it power. The world will only ever see your success, but you'll always know the price you paid. And when you finally hold that dream in your hands, when you look back on every night you almost quit, but didn't, that's when you'll realize something beautiful, the price was worth it. Comfort, it's one of the most dangerous things in the world. It feels good. It feels safe. It tells you you're fine where you are. And that's exactly why it kills more dreams than failure ever will. People think the enemy of success is fear or doubt or lack of opportunity. But no, the real enemy is comfort. Because when you get comfortable, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying slowly, quietly, without even realizing it. You see, comfort whispers lies in your ear. It tells you you've done enough. You can relax now. You deserve a break. And sure, rest is important, but there's a difference between resting to recover and resting to escape. Most people aren't tired. They're just avoiding the uncomfortable truth that growth demands pain. The muscles of your life don't grow in ease. They grow in resistance. Think about it. Every meaningful thing you've ever achieved came from a moment where you pushed beyond what felt easy. The moment you stepped into the unknown. The moment you said yes to something that scared you. That's where life starts to expand. You'll never discover your power by staying inside your comfort zone. You only discover it when you're stretched, when you're challenged, when you're unsure, when you have to fight for it. And let me tell you something, the comfort zone is seductive. It gives you the illusion of peace, but it steals your potential. It's like a warm bed on a cold morning. You know you need to get up, but it's so easy to stay under the covers. The longer you stay, the harder it is to leave. The more you feed your comfort, the more it controls you. Before you know it, years have passed, and the dream that once set your soul on fire is nothing more than a memory of what could have been. Winners understand something most people never do. They know that discomfort is the entry fee for greatness. They train their minds to see struggle not as suffering, but as shaping. They don't run from pressure, they rise through it. Every time they face something uncomfortable, they say, this is where I grow. This is where I become who I'm meant to be. It's not that successful. People don't feel fear or doubt. They feel it deeply. The difference is they've learned to walk through it. They've conditioned themselves to do what's necessary, even when it's painful. They've built a mindset that says, comfort will not control my destiny, because once you let comfort win, once it starts winning every time, if you want to create something extraordinary, whether it's a business, a career, a transformation, a legacy, you must make discomfort your companion. You have to get addicted to progress, not pleasure, because pleasure is fleeting. Growth is forever. When you choose growth over comfort, life rewards you with strength, wisdom, and opportunities you never imagined were possible. But here's the paradox. The more you step outside your comfort zone, the larger it becomes. What once terrified you becomes normal. What once felt impossible becomes part of your routine. You expand your limits every time you refuse to retreat. And one day, you wake up realizing you've become the kind of person you used to look up to. I've seen people who had all the potential in the world, but wasted it because they kept choosing comfort over calling. They wanted the success story, but not the struggle that builds it. They thought they could have transformation without tension, achievement without adversity. But that's not how life works. Every breakthrough comes from breaking something, a pattern, a habit, a fear, a limitation, and breaking always hurts. The ones who make it are not the ones who have perfect conditions. They're the ones who make progress in imperfect conditions. They learn to get comfortable being uncomfortable. They don't wait for the fear to disappear before they act. They act until the fear disappears. If you truly want to win, you have to stop chasing comfort and start chasing challenge. Challenge is where your potential lies. Challenge is where your greatness is hiding, waiting for you to show up and claim it. When you embrace the struggle, you take away its power to control you. When you step into discomfort willingly, you build the muscle of courage, and courage will take you places comfort never could. Most people will choose easy now and hard later, but the extraordinary ones choose hard now and easy later. That's the price of growth. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. You can either pay the price of discipline or the price of regret, but you can't escape the cost. Every time you choose the path of least resistance, you trade a piece of your potential for temporary relief. And one day you'll look back and realize that comfort was never your friend. It was the thief of your future. So if you want to change your life, here's the truth. Stop seeking comfort, start seeking growth. Step into the challenge. Chase the thing that scares you. Push beyond the limits you've built in your mind. Because the life you dream of isn't hiding in what's easy. It's waiting for you just outside your comfort zone. That's where the real magic begins. Everyone wants to feel motivated. We love that rush of energy, that spark of inspiration that makes us believe we can conquer the world. We watch the videos, read the quotes, get fired up for a moment, and then when the feeling fades, we wonder why nothing's changing. But the truth is, motivation is a visitor. It shows up when it wants to, not when you need it. Discipline is the resident. Discipline is what stays when motivation leaves. Motivation is like the wind. It's unpredictable. It comes and goes. Discipline is the sail you build that lets you move forward no matter which way the wind blows. The people who win in life are not the ones who are constantly motivated. They're the ones who have trained themselves to act without motivation. They do what's necessary whether they feel like it or not. Because if you're waiting to feel ready, you'll wait forever. Every day you have two choices: to be ruled by your feelings or to be ruled by your commitment. Feelings are temporary, but your commitment defines you. The problem is we live in a world obsessed with emotion. Follow your heart, they say. Do what feels right, and sure, feelings matter, but if you only act when it feels right, you'll never build the life you want. Growth doesn't always feel good. Progress doesn't always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels boring, repetitive, even painful. But that's where the transformation happens, in the moments that no one sees, when it's just you and the choice to keep going. Discipline is doing it again and again, when it's inconvenient, when it's frustrating, when you'd rather quit. It's getting up at 5 a.m. when no one's watching. It's saying no to distractions, to excuses, to short-term pleasure. It's the power to delay gratification, to play the long game when everyone else is chasing the shortcut. Because deep down, you know success isn't built on what you do occasionally, it's built on what you do consistently. Think about the people you admire, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the leaders, the artists. Do you think they're motivated every day? No way. They just decided a long time ago that their dreams were non-negotiable. They don't wait for inspiration, they create momentum. And momentum comes from repetition. The more you do something, the easier it becomes. But here's the trick. You have to start even when it's hard. That's how you build the muscle of discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intention and result. It's what turns vision into reality. You can have the best plan, the biggest dream, the strongest desire, but without discipline, it's all just talk. Dreams don't work unless you do. And you don't work unless you decide that discipline will guide your actions, not emotion. Most people fail not because they don't have the ability, but because they stop showing up. They quit when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when the results don't show fast enough. But discipline isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about doing your best on the days you feel like you're worst. It's about saying, I promise myself I'd do this. And that's enough reason to keep going. There's a moment that separates dreamers from achievers. It's the moment when you don't feel like doing it, but you do it anyway. That's the moment you build character. That's when you prove to yourself that you're in control. The discipline isn't punishment, it's power. It's the ability to command your mind instead of being a prisoner to it. When you master discipline, you start to realize something beautiful. You no longer need motivation to take action. You become your own source of drive. You stop chasing moods and start creating results. And that shift changes everything. Because once you understand that consistency beats intensity, you stop waiting for the perfect day and start making today perfect through your actions. People often say, I wish I had your motivation. No, you don't need more motivation. You need stronger discipline. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Motivation inspires you to begin. Discipline ensures you finish. There will be days when it all feels pointless. When you've worked hard, done everything right, and still don't see results. That's when most people stop. But if you keep showing up, if you keep doing what you said you would do, the results will eventually come. Life rewards consistency, not intensity. One great day doesn't change your life, but 1,000 small, consistent ones do. Every single act of discipline compounds. Every morning you push yourself, every time you say no to distraction, every time you do the hard thing, you're investing in a future version of you. And one day that version of you will thank you for not quitting when it was hard, for not waiting to feel ready, for choosing progress over comfort. When discipline becomes part of who you are, success stops being an event. It becomes a habit, and habits shape destiny. So stop chasing the feeling. Stop waiting for inspiration. You don't need to feel good to do great things. You just need to do them. Because discipline isn't about how you feel today. It's about who you want to be tomorrow. And when you master that, you become unstoppable. There's a side of success that no one likes to talk about, the part that doesn't fit into a motivational quote or a highlight reel. It's the side filled with silence, struggle, and self-doubt. Because behind every victory, there's a story no one sees. The late nights, the sacrifices, the moments when you question everything. The truth is the path to your dream isn't crowded, not because it's hidden, but because most people turn back when they realize how lonely it gets. You see, everyone celebrates you when you win. They clap when you're on stage, when you're smiling in the photos, when everything finally makes sense. But when you're in the middle of the grind, when you're exhausted, uncertain, and scared it's quiet, there's no audience then, just you and your thoughts. That's the part no one prepares you for. Every dreamer goes through a season where they feel invisible. You're doing the work, but no one notices. You're making sacrifices that no one understands. You're fighting battles that no one can see. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's just hard. And in those moments, you start to ask yourself, is it even worth it? That question, that quiet voice, is the real test, because the dream doesn't break you. The silence does. The waiting does. The feeling that you're giving everything you have and still not seeing results. That's when the doubt creeps in. That's when people give up. Not because they don't want it, but because they can't handle the hidden loneliness that comes with chasing something bigger than themselves. But here's the truth. Those silent battles are where greatness is built. That's where you find out who you really are. The world only sees the finish line. You have to survive the middle. And the middle is messy. It's the place where your plan falls apart, where people stop believing in you, where you have to keep going without applause. That's the moment when you have to be your own source of belief, because no one's coming to save you. No one's going to tell you it's okay or guarantee that it will work. You have to find the strength to keep moving when every voice around you and even inside you says to quit. Those long nights when you're tired and questioning everything, that's when you're being molded. Every setback, every rejection, every failure is shaping you into someone who can handle the success you're chasing. Because if success came too soon, it would destroy you. The silence teaches you patience. The rejection teaches you humility. The loneliness teaches you resilience. Every piece of pain has a purpose. You just can't see it yet. It's easy to stay confident when people are cheering. It's easy to believe when things are going your way. But true belief, real faith, is built when there's no evidence. It's built when you keep showing up, when you keep pushing, when you keep saying, I'm not done yet, even when no one's watching. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever looked up to, they all have a version of this. Nights where they cried, days when they almost walked away, moments when they thought they'd failed for good. But they didn't quit. They used the silence as fuel. They turned pain into power. And that's what made the victory so meaningful, not just the achievement, but the endurance it took to get there. What no one tells you is that success isn't a straight line. It's a cycle of falling, learning, and rising. You'll lose people along the way. Some won't understand your vision. Some will doubt you, and that's okay. They're not supposed to. Your dream wasn't given to them, it was given to you. The silence is your proving ground. It's where you earn it. And one day, when it finally works, when the world starts to see what you've been building all this time, they'll call you lucky. They'll say it happened overnight. But you'll know the truth. You'll remember every tear, every late night, every time you had to pick yourself up off the floor. That's the part that gives the dream its meaning. So don't fear the silence. Don't run from the lonely nights or the quiet days when nothing seems to move. Those are the days that separate the ones who want it from the ones who truly deserve it. The silence is not a punishment. It's preparation. It's where the universe tests your patience, your commitment, and your faith in what you're building. Because when you finally step into the light, when you finally win, it won't just be about the trophy or the success. It'll be about the person you became in the dark. And that person is unstoppable. Every dream demands a sacrifice. You can't have everything and still expect to create something extraordinary. You can't hold on to your comfort, your excuses, your distractions, and still rise to the level your vision requires. There's a cost to chasing greatness, and it doesn't come in money. It comes in moments you'll have to give up, people you'll have to outgrow, habits you'll have to break, and versions of yourself you'll have to leave behind. When you set out to chase a dream, it's not just about what you'll gain, it's about what you're willing to lose. Because every yes to your dream is a no to something else. You'll have to say no to comfort, to convenience, to fitting in. You'll have to sacrifice the need to be liked, the need to be understood, the need for instant results. And that's where most people stop, not because they don't want success, but because they're not ready to pay the price that success demands. The truth is you can't stay the same and expect your life to change. You can't keep the same routines, the same mindset, the same habits that got you here and expect them to take you there. Growth requires subtraction before it gives you addition. You'll lose pieces of who you used to be before you become who you're meant to be. There will be nights when you'll have to choose between sleep and preparation, between entertainment and progress, between being popular and being powerful. Sacrifice isn't glamorous, it's raw, it's painful, and it often feels unfair. But that's what separates those who dream from those who do. The ones who make it aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who were willing to give something up to go all in. Sometimes the sacrifice will be isolation. You'll find yourself alone more than you expected, not because people abandoned you, but because your path no longer matches theirs. Growth will distance you from the comfortable circles you once belonged to. Not everyone will understand why you're obsessed with your vision. They'll call you crazy, too serious, too focused. But that's the price, the loneliness of chasing something most people will never believe in until it's real. There's a point where your dream will test your limits. You'll have to make choices that feel unfair. Missing birthdays, skipping weekends, putting your goals ahead of temporary pleasures. People will misunderstand it. They'll think you've changed. And they'll be right, you have changed. Because to reach the next level, you have to become someone new. Every sacrifice you make is shaping that person. But here's what most don't realize, sacrifice isn't loss, it's investment. Every time you give something up for your dream, you're not losing it. You're exchanging it for something greater. You're trading short-term ease for long-term fulfillment. You're trading temporary pleasure for permanent progress. The pain of sacrifice doesn't last forever, but the regret of never giving your all does. When you're in the middle of it, when you're tired, when you've missed out on things, when you wonder if it's worth it, that's when you have to remind yourself why you started. You didn't come this far to be halfway committed. You came here because something inside you refused to settle. That vision you carry is your calling, and every sacrifice you make is proof that you're serious about it. You can't balance extraordinary with ordinary. You can't live like everyone else and expect to stand out. Success demands focus, and focus demands letting go. You have to decide what matters most and be willing to give up what doesn't. You can't chase every opportunity. You have to protect your energy, your time, your mental space, because those are your most valuable currencies. People often say, I want to have it all, but you can't have it all, not all at once. You can't be everything to everyone and still be something great for yourself. You'll have to disappoint some people. You'll have to miss some moments, but that's okay because you're building something that will outlast temporary opinions. And one day when the results start showing, when people finally see what you've built, they'll admire your success, but they'll never truly understand what it cost you. They'll see the highlight, not the trade-offs. They'll see the win, not the weekends you worked through, the relationships you lost, the comfort you surrendered. But you'll know you remember the price, and that's what will make it sacred. The truth is, nothing truly meaningful is built without sacrifice. Every great achievement is born out of something someone was willing to give up. The dream will test your priorities, your patience, your resilience, but it's through that test that you become unstoppable. So when the road feels heavy, when the sacrifices pile up, when it seems like you're losing more than you're gaining, remember this, every great dream demands that you trade something temporary for something eternal. You're not losing anything, you're becoming someone. And that exchange is always worth it. You know, we spend so much time chasing the win, the title, the recognition, the success, the dream, that we forget why we started in the first place. We think the reward is the moment we cross the finish line, but it's not. The real reward isn't the victory itself. It's who you had to become to get there. Because once you've paid the price, once you've sacrificed, once you've fought through the silence and the doubt and the fear, the dream is no longer just something you achieved. It's something you earned. When you finally reach that point, when everything you've been working for starts to unfold, you'll realize something powerful. The dream wasn't about the result. It was about the transformation. You'll look back at the person you used to be, the one who doubted, who hesitated, who was afraid to take risks. And you'll realize that version of you doesn't exist anymore. You've become stronger. You've become wiser. You've become someone who knows how to create instead of just wish. That's the real victory. The dream gives you something to chase, but the journey gives you something deeper. It gives you identity. Every challenge you face along the way is designed to shape that identity. The setbacks, the pain, the losses, they refine you. They strip away the parts of you that were built on comfort and replace them with resilience, patience, and self-belief. The dream was never just about what you wanted. It was about who you needed to become to hold it. And that's why so many people who finally reach their goals say, it wasn't the outcome that changed me, it was the process. Because success without growth means nothing. You can achieve everything you ever wanted and still feel empty if you didn't evolve in the process. The real win is not just crossing the line, it's realizing that you no longer need the world's approval to know your worth. When you start chasing your dream, you do it because of what you want to get. But as you grow, you begin to understand that it's really about what you're willing to give. The hours, the energy, the focus, the dedication. That's the currency of transformation. And as you give more of yourself, you start unlocking a power that was always inside you. The version of you who began this journey couldn't handle the success you were dreaming of. That's why life made you climb through the pain, to prepare you, to strengthen you, to stretch you into the person capable of living the dream, not just imagining it. There's something sacred about working for something no one else can see. Because when you finally get it, the victory is not just external, it's internal. You realize that all the rejection, all the waiting, all the nights you wanted to quit were not wasted. They were sculpting you. Every failure became a lesson. Every setback became fuel. Every challenge became proof that you're built for more than you thought. And here's the truth. When you finally win, it won't feel the way you think it will. It won't be fireworks and applause. It'll be quiet. It'll be a deep, calm sense of knowing that you made it, knowing that you didn't quit, knowing that you kept your promise to yourself. Because that's what the journey teaches you, how to trust yourself again, how to believe in your power, not your circumstances. You'll look back and realize that the people who doubted you, the moments that broke you, the detours that frustrated you, they were all part of the plan. Because if it had come easy, you wouldn't have learned the lessons that made you great. Every scar you carry becomes a symbol of strength. Every obstacle you overcame becomes part of your armor. You stop seeing yourself as someone chasing a dream and start seeing yourself as someone who creates reality. And that's when the dream changes. Because once you've gone through all of it, the pain, the discipline, the sacrifice, the loneliness, you no longer chase dreams the same way. You stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, who can I become? That's the moment you realize that the win isn't about the destination. It's about the expansion of your soul. The reward is growth. The reward is awareness. The reward is knowing that you've proven to yourself that you can do what others said you couldn't. You've learned how to take control of your emotions, how to focus your mind, how to use pain as a tool instead of letting it destroy you. You've learned that success is not about luck, it's about alignment. It's about aligning your habits, your thoughts, and your heart with your purpose. When you live that way, the wins don't stop at one dream. You start to realize that you can rebuild, recreate, and reinvent anytime you want. Because now you have the one thing that can never be taken away, the mindset of a winner. That's the ultimate freedom. So when you finally arrive at your dream, don't just celebrate what you've gained, honor what you've become. Because that's the real victory. The dream was the destination, but the journey made you the person who could handle it. And that person is the real win.